Hello everyone, I'm Chris Mazzillo Sorensen, and this is a retrospective of Kingdom Hearts. In my continuing adventure to try and play all of the Kingdom Hearts series in chronological order before the release of Kingdom Hearts 3, we find ourselves diving into the OG experience itself, Kingdom Hearts. Because when you walk away, you won't hear me say, please, oh baby, don't go. Anyway, Kingdom Hearts was originally simple and clean is the way that you're making me feel. Anyway, Kingdom Hearts first came out all the way back in 2002, which probably means it's not very good anymore. But we might as well have a look.
I've been having these weird thoughts lately. Like, is any of this for real? Or not?
Maybe it's this level of weird JRPG nonsense that sparked my cripplingly deep-set existentialism. Everyday living is another curse of time wasted. Continuing on with the crazy nonsensical JRPG nonsense, your 14-year-old self was presented with a personality quiz of sorts to determine how the rest of your life pans out. Like, what's most important to you? Nah. Or your biggest fear? The best years of my life have already passed. The game doesn't really wait around to introduce the first boss though. I'm beginning to feel this is a little above my pay grade, as I'm a child, so I don't get paid. Also, I have a shield and apparently no understanding on how to block, or to roll. Thankfully though, it was all a dream. Or was it? No time to ponder though, as you've got your childhood to enjoy with your good pals. What could possibly go wrong with such tender moments?
Oh no! Things, as they also frequently do, go wrong on a cataclysmic scale as Sora's world is destroyed and everyone he knows and loves probably dies to the all-encompassing nothingness of darkness. But hey, at least there's Disney characters to lighten the mood. This is where the real adventure begins as Sora finds himself racing through space and time in the search of his dear friends, all while fighting the evil creatures known as the Heartless. Did I just watch a man die? This seems a little above my pay grade. Although not to worry, because along your grand and epic journey, you'll be followed by Donald and Goofy, trusted knights of King Mickey himself. If you can find them, that is.
Where are Donald and Goofy? This begins to highlight one of the biggest issues you may come across with the original Kingdom Hearts. There's no sense of direction. It's all well and good that you burst into Alice in Wonderland's Wonderland and proclaimed Alice's innocence.
She's not the one you're looking for.
That's nonsense. Have you any proof?
But when you're on the wild hunt for evidence, there's little to no clue as to what you're actually doing, other than a vaguely cryptic message from a smiling cat. The best way to highlight this issue is with the worst level in all of Kingdom Hearts history, Tarzan's Deep Jungle. Not only do you immediately start in single combat against, well, an actual leopard, which seems a tad above my pay grade, the whole thing is a nightmare to navigate during the story. You start at the treehouse, you then have to bumble around down to the camp, in which you then have to return back up to the treehouse, then go back down to the camp. Then as you leave the camp, you'll follow this monkey in the exact wrong direction, as it keeps giving you items. Turns out you're going back up to the treehouse, then back to the treetops, and then back down to the camp, and then finally off back towards the thicket where you first went, all while being repeatedly attacked by Heartless and leopards.
Oh my god, Kingdom Hearts has not aged well. I love the series, But the first installment is more than a little clumsy. Each level ends up being this crude retelling of a Disney film, followed by a heartless boss battle that's giant and maybe a bit epic if not clumsy, and then it just ends. It doesn't help that each level is so outrageously short. It feels like a lot of the time that, you know, you've got Aladdin on at 10 times speed and it's just got this awkward overlay of a semi-transparent Sora and Heartless over the front of it. There are levels in which Sora and the gang are so heavily involved in the story of the film that it becomes its own unique adventure and it's a bit fun. Other times though, it just becomes this weird bogged down experience of fighting Heartless. You might catch a quick glimpse of Alice's skirts whilst fighting Heartless running through Wonderland. But that's not to say it's not entirely all about Disney characters in films, because there's also a load of people to do with Square Enix. Oh god, clouds, don't look.
Kingdom Hearts contains numerous Final Fantasy characters like Yuffie, Cloud, Squall, who is now going by Leon for some reason, and Aerith, who also isn't dead, which is an emotional scar cured from my childhood. Despite all this, the main focus is definitely on the Disney aspect as you jump from world to world, experiencing all there is, like getting eaten by a whale. And even descending all the way to Atlantis. This, if anything, just makes the already wonky combat increasingly more wonky, as you now get to deal with the difficulties of being half fish. I mean, the combat in Kingdom Hearts is a pretty basic system of just the same ha 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 combo to begin with, but now it's just awkward, and you have to fight an actual shark. Honestly, this is a bit above my pay grade. It's actually quite nice though, with the amount of original Disney music involved in the game, or at least songs heavily based on them just constantly playing in the background. It can be a little jarring at times though.
You might be wondering what you're actually meant to be doing in Kingdom Hearts, other than living out your dreams as the latest Disney princess. And for the most part, you're trying to find your friends who all died on that island. But at the same time, you're trying to work out what's up with all the Heartless and where they're coming from and what they're doing. Thankfully, Riku is a lot better at this than you are. Not only has he managed to find himself, he also found Kairi! Hooray! Although, once you do eventually actually catch up to your best friend, all of your other friends kind of leave you because apparently you're not the chosen one? Except you are now halfway across the universe, all by yourself in an unknown land filled with deadly creatures, and you've got nothing to fend yourself with except a non-magical sword. It's a little bit above your pay grade.
It's fine though, because eventually you make it to the top of the castle, and you're finally reunited with your long-lost friend Kairi. It's a shame that she's, well, basically dead.
Simple and clean.
How is it that a game with such wonky writing can still manage to evoke such emotions in a single scene? Especially when I don't fully understand what's going on. Riku's wearing weird purple footsie pyjamas, the word heart has been thrown around more often than could make sense, and yet despite it all, the purity of the power of friendship shines through and saves the day. Although, if there's one thing that friendship won't fix, it's the fact that the entire universe is dying and it's up to Sora to blast his way to literally the end of the world, and after fighting actual Satan, you're left to fight the final fight. The Seeker of Darkness himself, Ansem, who is a giant ship for some reason. Feels a little above my pay grade.
Kingdom Hearts is light.
Take care of her.
Kyrie, remember what you said before? I'm always with you too. I'll come back to you. I promise. I know you will.
You walk away, you don't hear me say, please, oh baby, don't go.
Simple and clean. While everyone you know and love may have been separated from you, or died to the heat death of the universe, or even just lost to the dark dimension forever, turns out Kingdom Hearts was the friends we made along the way. Honestly, for as much as I gripe about how clumsy Kingdom Hearts 1 is, there's this constant sense of friendship and adventure that just burns solidly straight through the whole game itself. So whilst you're dealing with really rubbish Disney film adaptations and crude JRPG nonsense, there are these constant moments of just happy-go-lucky bonding between Goofy, Sora and Donald. It just kind of puts a smile on your face.
Sounds good. Okay, but first, how about kidnap?
That said though, it is incredibly clumsy.
As previously stated, the combat is remarkably simple, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. There's nothing inherently wrong with. But one of the things you'll too rapidly realise, especially comparing it to other installments, mobility is rubbish. All too rapidly you'll grow frustrated from swinging your keyblade and missing your mark by 1/4 of an inch because you've stomped your feet firmly in place and refused to take a step with your swing. There'll be an enemy or boss that's hitbox is raised ever so slightly, and you'll find yourself in a bizarre dance of trying to jump at just the right time to hit the foe with the very tip of your swing so you can actually do something. Not to mention you have to actively equip the ability to block or dodge roll, which you also have to learn through leveling up.
Minor rant over, Kingdom Hearts is a game that is plagued by clunky combat and terrible level and map design that is a nightmare to actually get through because you have to be so precise with your jumping at times. It just doesn't make it very fun. It swings wildly between being a terrible movie adaptation of a Disney film to weird and confusing JRPG nonsense that a part of me loves inherently. So much of it feels like you're fighting these giant evil darkness monsters. You're so focused on that, but at the same time you can just faintly hear the sounds of the Little Mermaid playing through your neighbour's wall. Despite all of this though, it still manages to convey the sense of friendship and camaraderie as Sora manages to somehow make friends with everyone in every Disney film ever, and it just kind of puts a smile on your face, and it's something I genuinely had forgotten about going into it.
Don't move! You're hurt!
Why did you come here?
Kingdom Hearts 1 hasn't aged very well, and it definitely suffers for it. It just doesn't feel like an incredibly fun game to play through anymore, or at least replay through as the nightmare scenarios all come back to you of just how incredibly wonky and better some of the other games were. But at the same time, you can definitely see how this game went on to be the one that launched the ship that is the Kingdom Hearts franchise, that has gone on to produce countless number of games, almost too many spin-off games, and for that, there is something, sort of. Anyway, thank you for watching my video. If you like, feel free to leave a like in the like section or a comment in the comment section about your fond memories of Kingdom Hearts and maybe how I was far too harsh on it. Otherwise, in the description there will be a link to a more written-y, wordy review that I've written on my blog. If you look up here, there'll be a sort of retrospective of Kingdom Hearts Birth by Sleep. That was a fun thing to do. And down here, there'll be a review of a completely different game, like God of War, bit of a weird one. And if you want, you can click on my face, which will be a subscribe orb to subscribe to my face if you want. Thank you and goodbye.